What is modern homesteading? This is the million-dollar question. How you doing, guys? Chad here at the farm. Another winter wonderland day going on. Got to get my tractor out and get all this snow blowed because it snowed again, maybe 5 or 6 inches. Holy shnikes. Woo! Oh man, can't wait for spring though, man. I need to get the garden going. I'm just done with the snow. As beautiful as the snow is, you know, after a while, I'm just done with it. I put out a little short video a while back and it blew up. It's 60 seconds and it's titled, "Homesteaders Did All This in 2 Years." And it brought so many people to the channel. And it's amazing and I love it and I feel proud and accomplished. Thank you so much for all you new viewers out there. It's cold today. Cold, like that kind of cold. Pigs are doing okay though, you know. They got a bunch of blubber and fat and it just protects them. They want some food though. I've been giving a little water with the pigs' food because somebody mentioned that and it's supposed to help their digestive system. I don't know much about it. I'm just gonna try it. They definitely drink less water when you put water in the food. I know that so far. So this short video that's kind of gone viral, it's got me thinking, am I a homesteader? No, really, am I a homesteader? My wife and me, are we homesteaders? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not a homesteader. Homesteaders are like hermit type people that live in the woods off grid and supply all their own food and stuff like that. Of course, I titled that video, "Homesteaders Did All This in 2 Years." And it went viral. You know why? Because homesteading is a thing. Now really, when I'm talking about what exactly a homesteader is and what is homesteading, I'm not referring to the historical context, you know, like back in the day when governments were trying to attract people and they implemented the Homesteading Act and they tried to give away free land with the agreement from the people that they would homestead on that land. I'm just talking about more of a modern homesteading with a twist, you know? Nobody can really be 100% true, real homesteader nowadays, can they? I mean, we got things like property taxes, we have other bills that we're not in control of. You know, hello, townships rabbit. And regions and cities come and pick up our trash, they deliver our mail. You know, property values has gone through the roof around the world. So it's not like governments are giving away free land, right? Okay, here's one egg. Oh, it's a big egg. Big egg. Only one duck egg today, but I'll take it. Seeing as how eggs are so expensive and impossible to get nowadays, in the US anyways. They say it's globally, but I haven't experienced that in Canada. My wife says there's still eggs at the grocery store. And I mean, we haven't bought eggs for over 2 years, so it's not really an issue with us. And you got YouTube too, you know. Everybody on YouTube who's on a farm, who has a homesteading channel, or a farm channel, or an outdoors channel, or an off-grid channel, they're all saying they're homesteaders. And I'm not saying they're not. I'm not telling people how to call yourself or what you are, because you got the off-grid people who are a lot more self-sufficient than other homesteaders. We have full electricity from Hydro One here in Ontario, and I mean, I don't know if I'll ever be off-grid. I don't even know if I want that extra headache having to deal with batteries and solar panels. And what do you do in the winter? I don't even know how viable it is. And plus it's expensive. So, I mean, the property is already set up with hydro. I don't know if that's a step that I'll ever make. But definitely homesteaders, off-gridders, self-reliance type people, they all go hand in hand, right? Let's go and see these rabbits. I finally figured out how to tell the difference between the boys and the girls. Finally. And it's only because the bucks are a little bit older and I can actually see the scrotum and the testes. So I don't feel proud about it. I need to learn how to distinguish between the boys and the girls at a very young age, not waiting until they're a couple months old. But so far so good. You know, I put 2 bucks in with our buck Kenny Rogers, and Kenny Rogers was pissed. He was running after them, chasing after them. He was gyrating on top of them. He was biting them, and there's tufts of hair flying left, right, and center. But that only lasted for 1 day. Kenny established his dominance. The other 2 back off. And I mean, those other 2 are his children. So he shouldn't be hurting them too much, but I think they understand now who the boss is. Now, homesteading, I've always was led to believe that it was also a way of living a very frugal lifestyle, you know, reusing everything, recycling everything, living only with your bare essentials, no vanities, no fancy things. And that's what I always thought. But I can tell you right now, that's not what we're doing. I've worked far too hard in my life to go and live frugally. I'm not going to be the wasteful type, but I'm definitely not going to be a cheapskate. And that's just my wife and I. That's just the way we want to be. That's not knocking any homesteaders who do live a frugal lifestyle, but it ain't us. Now, of course, you viewers might even question too. That's why I never refer to ourselves as homesteaders, because I don't even think we're real homesteaders. Maybe we're considered homesteaders in training, because we don't even live here. Let's face it, we bought this place to live that life, but we're not even close to it yet. And we're also very well aware that in order to live that life comfortably the way we would want to live, we need to earn a good amount of money. The farmhouse here makes a little bit of money, but it's not enough to sustain our lifestyle. My wife and I still work, and that's just the way it is. Does a homesteader work, or do they just live off the land? And if you are living off the land, how do you pay your property taxes? You know, you're gonna have to sell an awful lot of eggs in order to pay those property taxes, because the government always wants their money. And sadly, the way most governments around the world are run, are operated in today's day and age, the government thinks that you owe them the money. The government mandates that you pay the money. It's not optional to pay taxes, right? There's no way to opt out of services. Here in Canada, I know we have a fairly decent healthcare system. In the United States, it's a lot different, but that's a topic for another day. But in Canada, we pay a lot of taxes, a lot. And some of it goes towards healthcare. What happens if I don't get sick and I don't use the healthcare system? So I'm basically paying and paying and paying my taxes towards the healthcare, and I'm not even getting a service out of it. But the way it's designed is that it's for the betterment of society, right? I can't opt out. It's the same that we don't have any kids, and yet a portion of our property tax, almost half in fact, goes towards the public education system. But I can't opt out of that even though I don't have kids in the system. So the reality is that even modern homesteaders, people who are living off-grid, you know, we all have something to pay to somebody. And that's just the way it is. So accept it. We can't wait for the day that we actually build our own house somewhere here on the 90 acres and still continue to develop the farm stay agritourism aspect of the farm, because that's a good way to earn an income. And I'm not even talking just that antique century farmhouse for rent. I'm talking about tiny houses for rent, you know, cabin for rent up in the woods, a cabin off the new pond that I'm going to build someday in the future, you know, maybe like a silo stay over there, and like several of these little places that would be for rent that would sustain our living for sure. But that's more the business side of things, and we're going to continue to set ourselves up to operate the business and invest and develop it and make it to where our vision is. And that's not even talking about food prep and food storage and canning and things of that nature, because that's a whole other aspect of homesteading that we haven't even tapped into yet. So nice to have use for everything, you know, even something as simple as a stale bagel. Back when we used to live in the city, you know, we just threw it in the compost. The city trucks came and took it away. Now, nothing goes to waste in our household because something is for the chickens, something is for the pigs, something's for the ducks, and there's something for everybody, and I feel really good about it too. The fact of the matter is that my darling and I both enjoy this lifestyle, and that's hard to find, you know, because there's a whole lot of couples, I've seen it in my comments, I've seen it on other channels, one likes it, the other doesn't, or maybe one likes certain aspects of it or not. But I love this life. I was born for this life. I love this life so much. I wish I could have done something like this 20 years ago when I was a lot younger. And I know that I'm not that old yet, but I still get tired just like everybody else. I don't want to be doing all this building and stuff that I'm doing when I'm like 65, 70 years old. I want to just enjoy it and have a low maintenance. I also think when you're talking about what is a homesteader or what is even a modern homesteader, you could ask 20 different people and get 20 different answers, because everybody has their own individuality, you know, they have their own understanding of what this kind of life is. We don't want to necessarily call ourselves homesteaders, but we do want to live a much more sustainable lifestyle, and we want to know where some of our food comes from. There's far too much poisons out there. Who knows what they're spraying on our fruits and vegetables? You know, who knows what they're injecting in the meat at the grocery store? Who knows if the eggs are being like bleached and like disinfected before they reach the grocery store? Everything that we grow and raise here at the farm, I'm 100% certain that they're 100% organic. No additives, no artificial flavors. And I know what kind of life the animal did live, which is very important too. Circle of life, you know. Come on, warm up. It's a cold one for the tractor. Oh yeah! Become extremely important to me, and it should be important for lots of other people, especially parents who want to teach their kids some values. And that's the importance of appreciating what it takes to actually grow and raise food. People in all cities around the world just go to the grocery store not thinking anything about it. They pick what they want, they pay the money that the store is charging, and they go on their way, and it's nothing. Right? It's important, I think, that we appreciate how much effort goes in to getting it to the grocery store. And one way to do that is to live this kind of lifestyle where you're endeavoring to get more self-reliant and growing and raising some of your own food and teaching your kids. And I feel like there could be no better life than that. You guys seen the price of diesel? It's pretty ridiculous. Up here in Ontario, Canada, Our diesel is $1.90 per liter. So for all you Americans out there, think about how much you pay per gallon, and we pay by liter. So I think there's 4 liters per gallon, right? So if I'm paying almost $2 a liter, 2 times 4 is 8. So pretty much $8 a gallon for diesel we're paying up here. I don't know how that compares. Let me know if any of you know down in the United States there. I'm just curious. I haven't been down there in a while. One of my favorite things about living this kind of life is the self-sufficiency, is the feeling of satisfaction or accomplishment when I finish building something, or you know, when we raised our meat chickens. I think that's just amazing. I never thought I'd be doing that in my life. And the garden, you know, whenever we produce our own vegetables, oh, it's like I feel like I just want to eat more vegetables, and that's not me. But if I'm the one growing it, I feel like I love vegetables. I know, I'm a little weird. But yeah, I'm wondering how many of you guys who are following my channel here are homesteaders yourself, or modern homesteaders, or what you think is a modern homesteader. How many of you grow your own food but don't consider yourself a homesteader? And I don't know, I think it's kind of interesting. I certainly don't expect people to be learning from me. And I know I do sometimes put the word homestead or homesteader in the title, and that's all about getting views. You guys should know by now, I've been trying to build this channel for the past couple of years, and a lot of YouTube's analytics and search, you need like searchable terms like homestead or farm or even Old English sheepdog. These dogs are internet famous. Because guess what? I think I'm the only farm type YouTube content that has Old English sheepdogs. These dogs are just my best friends. They're not really livestock dogs, although I train them to be around the livestock. They're not guard dogs by any means. Actually, Olive could be. Olive has the genes to be a guard dog. She barks at every little sound. But she lives with us in the house, so that's a little different, right? And if you want to watch a really great video about how we're living our dream here on the farm, it's a little bit of a longer type video, but it's action-packed, full of content, and I think if you haven't seen it, you'll really enjoy it. And I do appreciate you watching, okay? Thanks.